Hello, everyone, and welcome to our program titled PMA Members Save with Total Energy Solutions and Procurement. My name is Carrie Shepard, Marketing Analytics Manager for APPI Energy, and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. Please note that all participant lines are muted. Please submit questions anytime during the session by using the Q&A box on the bottom of your screen. Our presenter today is Jane Seagraves Sidebottom, Vice President of Marketing and Business Development with APPI Energy. Joining us as well this afternoon is Joe, District Development Coordinator with PMA. Welcome, Joe. Let's get started.
Good afternoon. I want to take a few minutes to introduce our presenter today, Jane Seagraves Sidebottom. APPI has been our endorsed energy consultant since 2003 to help members like you save money and create budget certainty for your business. Yes, they provide electricity and natural gas procurement, but this year they're rolling out the Energy Solutions Division for efficiency projects and improved sustainability. I hope you all enjoy the program and look forward to any of your feedback. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Jane.
Great. Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Carrie. I certainly appreciate that. And we certainly appreciate all of the PMA members that are with us this afternoon and wanting to learn a little bit more about this valuable member benefit. First of all, I wanted to share with you where it is in the United States that we do work. You can see the green states are deregulated for both electricity and natural gas, and that is really where the bulk of our business is concentrated. Although we do work across the U.S. and actually a bit internationally as well. In both electricity and natural gas. The natural gas states that are deregulated and competitive are in the blue. So you may have facilities, maybe your headquarters is in Illinois, but you also have facilities in Wisconsin. So perhaps those facilities in Wisconsin, we can help you with your natural gas procurement and managing that spend for you. But we did want to share with you those states that are deregulated for both electricity and natural gas. Michigan and California are the gray states, and I would contend that that is really the only opportunity that we have in those states right now is with natural gas. There were some changes in the regulatory environment there that really has curtailed the electricity procurement for us, but we can help you with natural gas in those markets. And what I wanted to share with you is a little bit about what the markets look like. These two charts depict both the electricity and the natural gas markets. This particular electricity market is looking at the PJM, which is a Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland grid. And that's one that we are on, and one that many of the PMA members are on as well. Of course, we can narrow this down and take a look at this throughout any parts of the U.S. and look at your particular utility as well to really see what has been going on with your utility prices and the variation thereof. Of course, if we looked at the Midwest chart this year versus the PJM chart this year, MISO, for instance, we'd see a bigger spike there at the end of the year, or at the beginning of this year, I should say, because of the polar vortex that affected so many of the Illinois states and the Midwestern states. So this is not all of the United States, but it's a sampling of what we're seeing. And really what I wanted to share with you is just the volatility of the markets themselves. We ran into some market speculation back in 10, and then in 2014, the polar vortex was a huge influencer. In fact, that was the largest ever recorded electricity prices in the United States. And then we can continue to see those spikes in many of the winter months as well. The markets have substantially subsided a bit and continue to remain pretty flat. the natural gas market that we're looking at down at the bottom left, they did see there was a big spike there in natural gas, and that was weather related. And that was because we did not, and we do not have as much natural gas in storage as we used to. We, as a country, we would carry much more natural gas in storage than we do today. And we don't carry as much today, in vast part because of the pipelines that we have available to us coming out of Marcellus Shale and different natural gas regions. We're able to get that supply to where it's needed more readily than we have been able to do in the past. And that has helped to keep the natural gas markets quite at bay. Then I wanted to share with you one of our sister companies here at APPI Energy is the ERC. That is the Energy Research Council. And this is a separate arm from APPI, but they do all of our research, all of our data analytics. We work with approximately 36 energy suppliers in the United States. There are, in fact, hundreds of suppliers in the United States, and we have vetted well over 100 of them and choose to work with only approximately 36. That in and of itself is a huge benefit for you, the PMA member, because you'll only be entering into a contract, if that's what you choose to do, with those suppliers that we know, like, and trust. And we have been in the business for quite some time, and I'll share with you a little bit about that later. But again, we have stringent guidelines that these suppliers must meet in order to be part of our pricing platform. So through the ERC, we're able to look at benchmark prices that come in from all of those suppliers in all of the different markets throughout the United States. And we can drill all the way down to your specific utility. So if you're in ERCOT, we can look at ERCOT specifically out in Texas. Or if you're in Ameren in Illinois, we can look at your market. And I'll share with you today some Pennsylvania markets that we chose as an example for our presentation today. From our benchmark pricing, we can then start to trend historical curves and what has been going on in the market. And from there, really look at insights as to when is a great time to buy and for how long should you enter into a new electricity or natural gas supply contract. And we can also depict perhaps what may be going on in the future. Not going to suggest that we've got a crystal ball. We don't. But our research really does help us look at what's going on in the future. And through ERC, which is proprietary and it's only available to our clients, we're able to help you look at the market and really time the market that's going to best suit your needs. And with that, here is one of the charts that we present to our members or to the members of PMA, for instance. And this is looking at all of the pricing that we've gotten in from all of the different suppliers on any given day. We chose to look at the Med-Ed service territory, and this is for week ending 2/22 for contracts that are going to start in April of 19. So we can look at this any week, and we can look at any future contract start time in the future as well. So we can really tailor this to you and what your needs are. So we can see here that there is quite a spread of pricing. The upward pricing of over 6, maybe 7 cents, close to 7 cents, and down to about 5 cents, or maybe say 5.5 cents. And then we see the dotted line that represents the average price. So you can see that from this chart, on average, many of the suppliers are coming in much higher than some of the lower suppliers. So I often tell clients that I work with that you can do this yourself. However, you might only be speaking to the suppliers that are at the top of this chart and that are providing you with the highest prices. And we are able to provide you with a plethora and looking at a multitude of different suppliers, and of course, bring in that lower price option for you as well. Again, here's another chart that we were able to generate due to the ERC information and the data that we have from them. Keep in mind all of the analysis that we do are very data driven and data centric, and we capture that data every single day. So if there is a different way you want to look at it or slice it and dice it, most likely we have the data to be able to help you with that. And Dr. Moore would certainly be a great advocate to be able to help as well. So keep that in mind with regard to this member benefit and how it can help you. So with this particular chart, we looked at the 12, 24, and 36-month pricing because that's very typical in the industry that we see. And we went back 24 months to look to see really what has been going on with pricing in the Med-Ed service territory. Med-Ed is in the Pennsylvania service territory in Pennsylvania. And again, we can pull this for any utility that we want to look at, wherever it is that you're located. And we chose to graph this on an indices. So we started 0 and wanted to see what has been going on with the different price points over the last 2 years. So you can see that the curve in totality has come down. However, the 12-month pricing seems to be a bit higher than the 24 or the 36-month pricing, which is very typical of what we're seeing in the market today. That's not typical of what we see in the market all the time. However, it has been the trend lately. So oftentimes when we are negotiating on the member's behalf, we encourage them to go in a longer term contract because it's less expensive. And then they can put this away and ensure price stability and budget certainty over the next 36 months, if that's the contract length that they choose to work with. And then a little bit about our procurement process. I've kind of shared with you on a macro level what the markets are doing, and then shared with you data and data analytics that we're able to capture through ERC. And then as you begin the development process with APPI, it is a very simple process for you. We ask that you send a copy of your bill and sign what's called an LOA or a letter of authorization. And that enables us to go to the utility to get your usage. And then we will structure an RFP. And from that RFP, we will send that out again to our 36 vetted suppliers that we know, like, and trust. And we request of them, or we require them to bring us back pricing on the same day at the same time with the same elements included in that pricing so that we can truly provide you an apples to apples or even a green apples to green apples comparison, if you will. And all of that process, again, all you need to do is send us your bill and the LOA, and we take it from there. And this is all done with no upfront cost or obligation to you. Again, it's a consultative process that we like to review with you. So we'll get the pricing back from the consultant, or excuse me, from the suppliers, and I'll share with you that. And during that process and prior to the pricing coming back, our operations team, headed up by Suzanne Hearn, she's our Vice President of Operations, is really the person behind the scenes negotiating with the different suppliers, making them really sharpen their pencils. And we bring the pricing back on the same day. And it is this that we then present to you, so that from this, you can make an informed business decision. So this was a pricing proposal that was a sample that we did in Pennsylvania. It was conducted in November of last year, and the contract is going to start in April of this year. So we're out, 6 months, a little bit around that time, so that we're a little bit in front of when the contract starts. Oftentimes, we are in the market for our current clients, I'd say 18 months to a year ahead of time, so that we can really begin the negotiation process. Let us do some pricing discovery to see what is in the market, what's going on in your particular market, because your market may be vastly different than this Pennsylvania market. So it's most advantageous for you to not back yourself up to the wall and you've got to hurry up and renegotiate your contract, but give yourself time so that we can do this renegotiation for you. We can do it in a 2-week time frame as well, but quite frankly, it's going to be more advantageous for you if there's a longer period of time for us to take a look at all of the options. So from this, you can see that APPI Energy for a 35-month contract is coming in with the higher pricing at almost 7 cents a kilowatt hour, where Constellation is coming in at 5.4 cents a kilowatt hour. So that spreads about a penny and a half difference, which if you're a large PMA member and manufacturing 3 shifts, or maybe even only 2 shifts, or perhaps you've got multiple facilities in multiple countries and or multiple states in the US, a penny and a half difference is a huge amount of money that you could be leaving on the table. So with this, we would then hone in, most likely, the top 3 or 4 suppliers that look the best to us, the ones that we think have, or not think, the ones that we know have the contract terms that you are looking for specifically. And again, through the consultative process, we'll understand what's important to you. We'll know if you're going to add a 3rd shift to your plant that's running in Ohio. So those things are important to us to understand ahead of time so that we can negotiate the proper contract for you. Many contracts have bandwidth provisions, and you'll see on some here that have 100% swing. That's great. And that means that you can go above or below any amount, and there is no penalty for you. There are other suppliers that don't offer that. And if that is important to you and you want to be with that particular supplier, perhaps that's something we can help to negotiate on your behalf. So we don't only negotiate pricing for you, but we also negotiate contract terms and really what's going to be the most beneficial to you. And again, keeping in mind when to buy and for how long to buy is critical while we're negotiating these contracts. All right. So the other thing that we have here is Our customer service team. So our customer service team is there for you. It's 4 individuals that are right outside my office, as a matter of fact. And we aren't here just for a sale and a one-time relationship with you. We're here for an ongoing relationship, just as our relationship with PMA has been ongoing since, I believe, 2003. So our customer service team is going to be there for you after the sale, as we all will be, but they're there to really make sure that there's a seamless transition from your old supplier to your new supplier, or perhaps you're still with the utility, and so from your utility to the new supplier. They're also there, which I think is the best part, to be your liaison. So if you've got an issue with a bill, or perhaps in the transition process, you forgot that you had this other account in Timbuktu and you wanted to know if you could include that in the new service agreement that you've just entered into, by all means, just please give us a call. We can take it from there. I like to say that Tracy has a bat phone to the utilities and the suppliers, and I could call Comcast myself and stay on the phone with them and stay on hold with them. Or if I had the opportunity to let somebody else do it for me, I think I would go that route. So please know that we're here to help you with that as well. Also, account monitoring. We encourage our new clients, once their new contract has begun, we encourage our new clients to send in a copy of your bill or bills so that we can make sure that you're getting billed correctly. And in fact, that is what you negotiated, or what we negotiated on your behalf. That is the price. Because oftentimes, as you know, in large corporations, the person that's negotiating the contract is not the same person that's paying the bills. So we really do encourage you to send your bills in. Let us just take a look to make sure that you are, in fact, getting billed correctly. And then if there are opportunities for tax exemption, and in manufacturing, there are opportunities for that. We want to make sure that the proper paperwork is in place for that, and that we can help you with that. If by chance you have been not getting, or you have been getting taxed, we can come back and help you to get some of those monies back, or all of those monies back, depending on how long ago it has been happening. And then, of course, we want to look for future opportunities for you, for the renewals that may be coming down the pike. We'll be in the market for you, as I mentioned before. 18 months ahead of time is very par for the course for us. But we want to look to see what is going on in your market and make sure that we're attuned to that and relaying that information to you so that you understand what's going on in your market. Because if you sign a 4 or a 5 year electricity contract, you're not going to be in the market every day. You're going to put that to bed and move on with the next fire that you've got to put out. So again, we're in the market every day, so let us help you with that. And then, as Joe mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we are launching this year our Energy Solutions division. And it's an area that I'm thrilled about. I'm excited to be able to offer to all PMA members once we get to that point. At this point, we are doing a pilot program in the mid-Atlantic states. So we're focusing right now on Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware area. But as you may recall, the map that we looked at earlier, there were only a few states that were green, that were deregulated for both electricity and natural gas. So that's a small number of PMA members that we can truly help with this member benefit. Then you overlay the natural gas, and of course that gives us a much larger footprint. But now you overlay the Energy Solutions division, and we are able to go from coast to coast and help anybody in between along as well with any of their energy solutions, anything that they need. We really want to be the one-stop energy shop for you. So that could be facility audits and really drilling down to your particular utility to see what type of rebates are available for you. And for different projects, there's different rebates. And of course, they change all the time. But let us help you with that. LED lighting retrofits. If you're a large manufacturer and you're running 3 shifts, chances are there is huge opportunity for you. And even if you've done this 5 or 6 years ago, it now may be a great time to do another retrofit because the technology has vastly improved from 5 or 6 years ago. HVAC upgrades may not mean that you need new units. Maybe there's some controls that can be put in place and things like that to curtail your usage. Solar projects, it's huge as far as sustainability measures go. And then utility benchmarking. This is an area that's great for large manufacturers where you can see what meters are doing, what your different meters are doing. And it's also great for folks that have multiple locations. And as you're entering into thinking about doing some upgrades to your facility, this enables you to really, look at in real time what each one of your facilities are doing. What is your energy spend per square foot? And with this, you can go after the monsters first and bring their usage back in line and make them more efficient, because that's the first Band-Aid you want to put on, per se. And then finally, demand response programs are programs that can be very lucrative to PMA members and other manufacturers, whereby you sign up to curtail your load. Should there be a need on the grid, depending on what grid you're on, in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, oftentimes there is a need for energy curtailment because we've had our 3rd or 4th 100-degree day in August or September, and the grid just can't handle it. So we need folks to curtail their usage, and they're paid handsomely throughout the year if you sign up for these programs to say that you will do it upon a need. Doesn't mean that it always happens either. There are some years that there was no need and the member is still continuously paid month after month after month. So those programs change depending on where you're located, and how lucrative they are certainly depends on the program. So we can help you with that as well. And then finally, I wanted to share with you a little bit about APPI Energy and who we are as a company. We have been in business since 1996. I like to say that we're an old company in a young industry. We have approximately 15,445 commercial and industrial meters that we manage. We have 158 affinity endorsements. So not only does PMA endorse our program, but 158 other national and state programs enjoy our relationship, enjoy this member benefit to their members, and see, the vast success that we're all sharing in this. And then we manage approximately 10 billion kWh and 18 million decatherm. And we have 42 employees headquartered here in Salisbury, Maryland. And I think that's what I have for today.
Thank you, Jane. At this point, we invite participants to ask questions through the webcast system. If you have difficulty sending your question, please email them to Jane Seagraves at jseagraves@apppienergy.com, as you see there on your screen.
Yes, Jane, this is Joe, and I have a question. What if a member is currently in a contract and it doesn't expire until October 2020?
That's great, Joe. So again, I'll just reiterate what I've been saying all along. If you know when your contract expires, just go ahead and send it in to us. Send in your bills and your LOA, and we can go ahead and at least get you queued up. I'm not suggesting that we are going to be in the market for you this far in advance, but we may be. It really depends. There are several members that we go in the market 18 months ahead of time, or even 2 years. And the market is so favorable when your current contract is going to expire that they go ahead and sign the contract for that time period. We do not encourage there to be early termination of your contract. We don't encourage that at all. The early termination fees can be horrendous. And so we would say, let's get you queued up. Let's take a look and keep you in the queue and understand maybe what your strike price may be and be able to take care of that when the time is right.
Great. Thank you, Jane. We do have another question for you. With the new division you explained, can you give a little more detail on what an optimal lighting retrofit client may look like?
Yes. So as far as lighting retrofits specifically, one of the things that we really look for is what we call burn time. So if you're an organization such as a manufacturer that has 3 shifts that you're running, and or you have lights that are on 24/7, that's a great opportunity for your ROI to be amazing. You can do these retrofit programs, and with the rebates that we're able to get you, oftentimes the return is just unbelievable. I mean, they're paid for in a year, 2 years, depending on really what it is, and there's different ways in which we can finance that as well. So really, it's very specific to the member, but as far as lighting retrofit goes, just think about burn time, and if you've got a lot of burn time on a bulb, most likely we can help you reduce your cost on that.
Thank you. It looks like we have no further questions at this time. I'd like to thank everyone for participating today. A special thank you to Joe for joining us as well, and our presenter, Jane Seagraves Sidebottom. Today's program is copyright 2019 APPI Energy with all rights reserved. This concludes today's program. You may now disconnect.